Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, the Habs post-game show, late edition. We are going live at 1:11 a.m. Eastern Time. The Montreal Canadiens beat the Seattle Kraken by a score of 4-3 in overtime just moments ago. The Canadiens were in control of the situation until late in the third period, and then a bad play by Jaden Struble leads to, and a bad penalty by him leads to a power play goal by the Seattle Kraken. And then all of a sudden, the Kraken start getting momentum. They get back in the game. A couple of brain cramps for the Montreal Canadiens. And just when you thought that the Seattle Kraken would have had momentum because they actually tied the game with an empty net. Once they pulled their goalie, they end up scoring late in the game. It was Brandon Montour, who's a Montreal Canadiens killer, who ties the game at 3. And once you would have thought that they would have had the momentum, no, the Montreal Canadiens say it's not going to go that way, because when we go to overtime, we are a very difficult team to beat. And Cole Caufield, taking matters into his own hands, as he has done before on several occasions. He takes Dunn to the outside. He ends up behind the goal line. He tries to jam it in, as good goal scorers do, and as only goal scorers do. That puck is able to trickle in right between his legs, past the line. The Montreal Canadiens win, and we're here for your Habs postgame show. I'm not alone. I'm Marinaro. Pierre McGuire will join me. Coming up, huge win. The Canadiens finish off their 4-game road trip with 3 wins. Are you happy? We'll talk about it.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lanier, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The the sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the fall!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est Québec qui fait le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs!
And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Bittt. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Oh, yeah, we're here. A deal is a deal is a deal. Yesterday, we put on Application X, formerly known as Twitter, that the post-game show would start probably at around 1:15 in the morning. As it turned out, it started now. It's 1:17 a.m. Eastern time. And we said, if you give us 115 plus retweets that you want us to do a Habs post-game show, well, we will. And so you know what? You gave us more than that. So here we are. The Montreal Canadiens win by a score of 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Cole Caufield. Not his first, won't be his last. He's already made his way, of course, into the Montreal Canadiens history books as being Mr. Clutch in that regard. We'll talk about that soon enough. Who do you have for the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators on Saturday night, as the Canadiens have now completed their 4-game road trip, and they will host the Ottawa Senators on Saturday night. Go all the way with Betway. Get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers only. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please, please play responsibly. Without further ado, here's my guy on every weeknight Habs post-game show, my co-host, Pierre McGuire.
The McGuire Report. Presented by Vago Italian.
And yes, the McGuire Report is presented by Vago Italian. I want to talk to you about them because it's one of my favorite restaurants in the city. I know that Pierre McGuire could say the same thing because he's been going there for a very long time on Green Avenue, corner of the Maisonneuve. They've been open for 23 years. Find me restaurants that are open for 23 years, and I'll tell you that means they're doing something right. That means that the food is good, the service is good, the price is good. It all comes together, or else you don't stay open for that long. It's pretty simple, actually. Pretty simple equation. Private dining rooms for any occasion, which makes it very private, and it's really, really nice. I've been there before. I saw the private dining rooms, and it's a great place to have a birthday and engagement or corporate meeting there. There's plenty of free parking after 6. I hate going to a restaurant where all of a sudden I go round and round and I'm looking for parking for about 45 minutes. I don't feel like eating anymore, which is actually, it's not true. I always feel like eating. But anyway, you know what I mean. It's open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch Tuesday and Friday. Fresh quality ingredients, old world Italian classics, new Italian. Come see Tommaso, the most popular man in Westbound, at the front of the house, and his partner Angelo at the back of the house. Pierre McGuire, how are you?
Doing fantastic, Tony. Nice to visit with you. For 40 minutes, I was like, I'm staying up this late to watch this game. It was kind of a non-event road game. Montreal playing really smart, and then all of a sudden, the third period, both teams started getting after it. It was pretty fun to watch.
And Pierre, I don't think we have anything to prove in terms of our commitment to our viewers, our listeners, our people watching, of course, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and they're watching right now as we speak, Pierre. Just to give you an idea, by the way, Pierre, I think we can give you a number here. Once again, it's 1:20 a.m. Eastern time, and we have over 1,500 people that are watching. It's funny because Agnello, earlier today, of course, he was in conversation with my eldest Anthony, and my wife was like, Agnello, let me ask you something. Who the heck's going to be watching at like 1:30 in the morning? And Agnello said at least 1,500 people live on YouTube, and between YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, he said, I bet you it's going to be more like 3,000. And you know what? We're pretty much at around that number, which is pretty cool. So Agnello was right. Agnello, you were right. I can't tell my wife she was wrong because she's sleeping anyway, so I'm not going to wake her up. But Pierre McGuire, in terms of commitment, you are not in Montreal. As a matter of fact, you are not in Canada. You are not in the United States. You're in a completely different time zone. Where are you, Pierre? And just as I said that, we lost Pierre McGuire. Oh, my God, you can't make this stuff up. I'm sure we'll get him back. Pierre McGuire is in Ireland, and I think we just figured out that the Wi-Fi in Ireland is probably pretty weak, or probably not as strong as it would be in North America. But anyway, I digress. Why don't we get to the Montreal Canadiens lineup? Let's do that. All right, okay. The Canadiens had Suzuki with Slavkovsky on his right and Caufield on his left. Evans with Gallagher on his right and Anderson on his left. Kapanen with Demidov on his right, Newhook on his left. Dach with Veleno on his right and Bolduc on his left. Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hudson, Jacky, Carrier, and of course in goal, Jakub Dobeš. Now, this has been a big topic of conversation, of course, where, in Montreal Canadiens land, especially here in Montreal, in La Belle Province. A lot of people saying that Samuel Montembeault should have got the start in goal. And listen, who's to say if Montembeault would have played, maybe he would have won. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know if he would have. What we do know is Jakub Dobeš, whether you liked his performance tonight or you didn't like his performance tonight, he won. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And Marty St. Louis, Pierre McGuire, who's back, when asked about who was going to be a starting goaltender yesterday, Marty St. Louis said, listen, Dobeš is hot right now, and, it would be wise of us to continue to go with them. And Pierre, one of the things we talked about as well is with Dobeš being hot, you're in no rush to put Montembeault back in, and you give him the time and the extra practice to be able to find his game. Now, Pierre, I thought Dobeš could have had one or two back in this game, but at the same time, and I know it's not going to be talked about, Pierre, but I also know that Jakub Dobeš made some pretty big stops in this game at very key moments. When the Canadiens had a 2-0 lead in this hockey game, Pierre, he stuffed Shane Wright twice in close. And if Wright scores that one, it ends up being 2-1, and all of a sudden, they're back in the game. In period number 3, 1:20 in, there's a Montour pass to Beniers, and I think it was Lane Hudson who was out of position, and Struble was trying to cover for him, or vice versa. But he's down the left wing, a huge wrist shot, a left pad save by Dobeš. That's another big-time save, Pierre, by Jakub Dobeš in this hockey game. And with 5 minutes left, and the Canadiens having a 3-1 lead, he stopped Berkeley Catton all alone in the slot. It was another big save by him. So could he have had one or two? Would he probably like to have one or two back? Maybe. He also made some big stops, Pierre.
Well, let's be fair, too. The Brandon Montour first goal, that goes off of Carrier's stick, the power play goal.
Correct.
If you look at the 4-on-4 goal, go watch Demidov and watch Jake Evans. Those guys collapse way too deep. They don't do a good job in the neutral zone, especially Demidov, so that hangs Noah Dobson out to dry because they're backing off. There's no gap control, so that's a problem. That's not on Dobeš. And if you want to blame him for the goalie pull goal that ties the game late, that is a screecher from Brandon Montour through traffic. And watch the body reaction of Jake Evans. He knows he should have been in the lane on that one. He's not. And so it beats the goalie because there's bodies in front, and obviously Seattle has an extra person. To me, the biggest thing is, if you want to play it that way as a Montreal Canadiens fan, say, oh, we got to play this guy because he's a nice guy and we like him, well, you're not going to win a lot. You got to play the best guys who give you the best chance to win. And right now, Jakub Dobeš gives the Montreal Canadiens the best opportunity to win night in and night out. That doesn't mean it's going to last like that the whole year, but that's the way it is right now. Hey, Joe Veleno played more minutes than a lot of guys like Oliver Kapanen tonight because the coach thought he gave him the best chance to win. Late in the game, did you think Joe Veleno would be on the ice? He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
Because the coach felt it gave him the best opportunity to win. That's the way you run a railroad.
I actually didn't think he would be on the ice, Pierre, because I think with about a minute and a half to go, or less than a minute and a half to go, just over a minute to go in period number 1, Veleno, I thought, took a bad penalty just outside his blue line. You don't want to take those penalties when you're up by a couple of goals, and then all of a sudden leads to a power play goal, and you give the other team a goal in the last minute of a period. And because of that, I probably thought, you know what? But it just goes to show you that coach does not hold a grudge. Yes, he took a bad penalty. And yes, there have been other coaches in the past who have punished players. But Marty St. Louis says, hey, you know what? It's okay. I thought Jaden Struble took a bad penalty in tonight's game. For whatever reason, he thought he was going to be Bobby Orr, and he wanted to bring the puck into the offensive zone and all of a sudden try and do something with the puck. That's not his game. Like, don't get away from your game. He should have dumped the puck into the corner and retreated back, and he ends up taking a penalty on the play, and all of a sudden the Seattle Kraken score a goal on the power play. But you know what? You don't see the Canadiens coaches when players make a mistake, Pierre, or an error in judgment. You don't see them hammering at the bench like we've seen coaches do in the past, and still some coaches do now. It's they go over, they talk to them. Sometimes they tell them what they should do differently. Sometimes the player knows already what they should do differently, but it ends up with a pat on the back and usually end up going back on the ice, Pierre. Pierre McGuire is jammed up. Okay, so he wasn't talking. I was wondering what was going on. Pierre, are you there? Okay, Pierre jammed up. Obviously, there's an internet issue in Ireland, which I guess sometimes when you're on the road, these things can be expected. Okay, you're back. Okay, it's the first time I've ever seen you speechless, Pierre. I didn't know what to say. All right, okay. Pierre, I was just saying before you froze up there that, you know what? For example, Jaden Struble made a wrong play selection and he tried to carry the puck in and do stuff with it, get away from his game. It led to a bad penalty, led to a Seattle Kraken power play goal. But you don't see the coaches, grilling the players at the bench when they get back. Sometimes they talk to them, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the player knows what he did wrong. They get the pat on the back. They usually end up going back on the ice, Pierre.
Well, no, I think the biggest thing is that this is a group that believes in one another. The coaches trust the players. And if they do make a mistake, they come back to the bench. There's positive reinforcement. I'm more encouraged about this team than ever before. Tony, they're winning games in different ways. Tonight, they had a comfortable lead. They had a 2-0 lead. They were kind of milking it on the road. They go up 3-0 after the New Hook power play goal. And all of a sudden, everybody's kind of and enjoying it and feeling good about themselves. And it doesn't work out. They have to battle back. Watch Cole Caufield go to work on Vince Dunn in overtime. He knows that that's a Vince Dunn who's a left-hand shot on the right-hand side of the ice. He knows that. That just shows you a player paying attention to detail. That's why when you see him walk him, he goes wide, and then he cuts right back from behind the net. He understands what's going on in the game. All these guys, and I'm convinced it's partly because of Marty St. Louis, and it's partly because the entire staff give the players a lot of confidence, even when they do make mistakes.
Pierre, goal scorers, they try things. And you know what? Another player who's not a goal scorer probably tries the same thing as Cole Caufield, but off of Caufield's stick, it's going to go in. But very, very smart, Pierre. As you said, he takes Dunn to the outside. And when he does, he says, you know what? Cole Caufield tonight made a lot of dangerous plays, Pierre, from behind the goal line, one of which was the pass to Juraj Slafkovsky, which we'll get to, which ended up being a tic-tac-toe goal on the power play. Nick Suzuki made a play behind the goal line, which ended up being a pass to Cole Caufield when Caufield scored his first goal of the game. Once again, Caufield ends his night with a couple of goals to show for it and a big assist as well. But Caufield sees, okay, you know what? I can't get the cord here. I'm not going to go back at it. What am I going to try and do? I'm going to try and jam it off of him because he's probably going to get off the post a little bit. I'll try and bank it off him and let it go in. And you know what? It was able to find its way through. And, what a game by Caufield.
Great game by Cole. I thought the team played a solid road game. You got to remember, Tony, this team should have gone 4-0 on this road trip. We talked about it last week. I mean, the Edmonton game was an abomination for the National Hockey League and the officials in the league. That was terrible. Garrett Rank wasn't very good in that game, and Chris Schlenker wasn't very good in that game either. That was bad. But the Canes found a way again. They found a way to come from behind in Vancouver in the third period. They found a way tonight, even though they had the lead. I really like this team, the resolve of this team, the way the coach is deploying the players. It's fun to watch. I don't know if you're feeling the same way, but it is a ton of fun to watch.
Pierre, I'm pretty optimistic about it, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm sure a lot of Canadiens fans would have loved to have, had it a lot easier and hold on and win the game by a score of 3-1. But I think there's something to be said that when you're up 3-1 and all of a sudden things don't go right for you and the momentum shifts and then it's 3-2 and then they pull their goalie and then it's 3-3 and then all of a sudden, there's fatigue here. This is a trip that went from Montreal to Calgary. You go to overtime. You surtax a couple of players, Matheson and Dobson being a couple of them. The following night, you're in Edmonton. You're down 3-1, then you're up 5-3, and then with 9 minutes left, you end up losing the game on a game-winning goal that's scored with 1 minute and 9 seconds. You get back to the locker room. You're absolutely livid with the officials. The entire team is. Anderson must have been just absolutely really upset about it. We heard from Gallagher. We heard from Caufield. We heard from Coach Marty St. Louis. Now, you know what? You're wondering, how are they going to come out the next game? Are they going to be rattled by losing that game the way they did against Edmonton? And they're down 2-0 with 25 minutes left in the game. And you know what? They come back and they end up winning the game by a score of 4-3. And that involved the travel, of course, going to Vancouver, where they played 3 games in less than 4 nights. There's all kinds of travel. Your altitude, like you've talked about before, time change, all that stuff. The next day, you got a day off. You had your rookie party on Saturday night. You got the next day off to relax and recover. Monday's a practice day. Tuesday, you're back at it. It's the end of the road trip. You're probably losing a little bit of focus. You're probably a little bit tired. You're playing your 4th game in 7 nights. And now you see a 3-1 lead evaporate. You go to overtime, and you're thinking that the Seattle Kraken have all the momentum their way. And the Canadiens have to be thinking about, hey, you know what? Kraken beat us in overtime the last time we played in Seattle. As a matter of fact, they scored after 4 seconds that it started. And no, even with the fans going nuts the way they did, the Canadiens find a way, Pierre. Now, look, we can be picky and say, well, they're not going to win games 3-on-3 overtime in the playoffs because there is no 3-on-3. But for now, Pierre, this is very, very positive. And Pierre froze up again. This is amazing. Talking to myself, it's a beautiful thing. But anyway, it won't be the first time. It won't be the last. Folks, don't worry about it. I'm used to doing post-game shows by myself. You know what? I talked about hockey during a lockout, and I talked about hockey during COVID when hockey wasn't being played in either case. But Pierre McGuire is back. We're going to blame the hotel in Ireland or wherever he is. Pierre, you're back. I was saying, Pierre, that, you know what? I
heard everything you were saying.
Thank you,
I heard
Pierre.
it all.
I'm almost more impressed the fact that they were able to not lose their composure and get it done in overtime, because a couple of other teams would have blown it and said, you know what, we blew it. Instead, they kept going.
Well, it speaks to what you were talking about, though. It speaks about the resolve, everything they've gone through. Every day is a learning day for this group. They're getting better all the time. I guarantee you, not tomorrow and not tonight, they're going to show Demi-Duff what went wrong on the 4-on-4. They're going to show how he had bad gap in the neutral zone. They're going to show how he and Jake Evans didn't communicate in end-zone coverage. They're going to show that to those guys. It's not going to be in a negative way. It's going to be in a positive way. And Marty St. Louis is going to say, hey, I need you on the ice in 4-on-4 situations, but I can only play you in 4-on-4 if you do what we need you to do defensively. We know what you can do offensively, but you got to learn to do some stuff defensively. That will continue to evolve and get better. Because this is, I see Marty now more than anything. He thinks he's like a professor. He thinks he's like a school teacher. And the best coaches usually are like that. And that's really exciting to watch the improvement of all these players.
Pierre, the Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, a leading asset-light 3PL that's driven to be different from cross-border freight between Canada, USA, and Mexico to coast-to-coast shipping in both Canada and the United States. Energy moves it all, fast, reliable, powered by tech that delivers smarter logistics. If you need a real partner in transportation, contact the team at sick@shipenergy.com and see how Energy Transportation Group is changing the freight game. Are you hungry for a deal? Eat well at Playground without breaking the bank. Monday, sink your teeth into a juicy 12-ounce ribeye steak with all the fixings for just $19. Tuesdays, dive into an all-you-can-eat Asian experience for only $25. Wednesday, savor a 6-ounce bacon wrap filet mignon with dessert for just $30. Thursdays, lobster surf and turf, only $22. And Fridays at lunch, get any sandwich, burger, pizza, or main for just $7. It's delicious. It's outrageous. Visit playground.ca for details. You want to continue with the positives? I have another one for you. I really liked Kirby Dach tonight. As a matter of fact, I liked him a lot. I liked him last game. He didn't show up on the score sheet. I liked him tonight. He ends up getting an assist on Alex Newhook's goal on the power play. Mm-hmm. Pierre, he was carrying the puck with confidence. He was driving the net. He was using his body. Yep. He put his nose in traffic, and I saw him retreat. I saw him being the first forward back. I saw him playing 200 feet, and I saw him making very good decisions with the puck. Pierre, what did you think of Kirby Dach's game?
Well, we agree. The one thing that I will say, there was a little divine intervention on the new hook feed. I think he was trying to pass that puck to Gallagher, and it went off of somebody.
It was deflected and it made its way to Newhook. Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It was a right idea. He was trying to make a hard play at the net. I did like his game. I liked his game in Vancouver too. I was not as in love with his game in Edmonton. I'll be totally frank with you. And I didn't think he should have been in the lineup that night, but the coach knows more than I do because he's around the team all the time. But no, Kirby, when he's using his body and his size and his reach in particular, he does make a big difference. No question.
All right. Okay. Pierre, Marty St. Louis said, I think when we spoke last, I think you said you can ride the hot hand in Dobish, but once the trip is over and you get back home, you said you would have gone to Montembeault, but Marty St. Louis said yesterday, Dobish is hot and he's winning. It would be wise of me to continue with him. Does that logic continue to keep going into next game? Because he won again.
Oh, well, I thought Dobish would play after the game Saturday night. I thought he'd play tonight. I said that on Mitch Melnick's radio show.
Yes,
today.
you did. No, but I think you said that when they come back home versus Ottawa, at that time, maybe you would look at Montembeault. But now that it's all played itself out and Dobish played again tonight and he won, would you go with Montembeault, or are you going to continue to go with the guy who wins? Because I tell you this, you're a disciple of Scotty. Scotty would go with his guy that won, wouldn't he?
He would. Absolutely would. The interesting part about this is I want to see how he comes out of the game before I'd make a commitment to him. Like, I want to know how you're feeling, fatigue factor. Let's talk when we get home. Most of these guys, Tony, aren't used to red eyes, and if they're flying back tonight, which I think they are, unless I'm wrong, that's going to be a wasted Wednesday. Thursday will be just adequate. Then Friday's kind of a big work day, if that's what they're doing. And if they don't do that, they lose all of Wednesday and probably most of Thursday. It's a little different than people think. We'll see. I personally would probably monitor the health situation of Dobish. If Dobish tells me he's good and the goalie coach tells me Dobish is good, might go back to Dobish on Saturday.
Pierre, as a matter of fact, they're going to depart Seattle at 10 a.m. this morning.
Okay, so they're going to stay over, that's
they're
why I
staying
said
overnight.
most of them aren't used to the red eye. That's a tough deal. I used to do that a lot, and it can foul you up, especially as a player.
Yeah.
So 10 a.m. their time.
Correct. I have the Canadiens travel schedule here in front of me. Yeah.
1 o'clock. So they're looking at a arrival time tomorrow night. Yeah, Wednesday night. Well, it's tonight for you guys, and I guess it's this morning for me. But yeah, so that's going to waste all Wednesday and good parts of Thursday.
All right. Okay. So, Pierre, it's funny because a lot of former NHLers that I have obviously a lot of respect for in the last 24 hours, Antoine Roussel, Eric Fichaud, Bruno Gervais, Denis Gauthier, they said that they would have gone with Samuel Montembeault, and that, you know what, he needs to get his confidence back and put him in there. I know that Jose Theodore last week didn't like the fact that Montembeault didn't get the game versus the Buffalo Sabres after he had a difficult night and a loss versus the Rangers. He thought that they should have come back with him. Pierre, they played the game and obviously have a lot of respect for what they think. Your thoughts on this notion that he's your number one? You have to respect the number one. You can't forget about what he did last year in starting 62 games. He's a big reason why you got into the playoffs. Your thoughts?
Well, those are all fair comments. They are. And those are all smart guys. They're good hockey people, all of them. I broadcasted a lot of their games over time. They're a little too young for me to have coached against them, but I definitely broadcast all of their games. And I admire all of them. I just think that's the beauty of this. Everybody's got an opinion. What you did last year only counts for so long. It's about what you're doing this year. And so we're past the point of what you did for me last year. We're at the point, what are you doing for me this year? And right now, Sam's not as good as he was a year ago. He's not. That's a fact. Doesn't mean he can't get back there, because I think he can. But the truth is that right now, Jakub Dobish gives his team the best chance to win. That doesn't mean it's going to be like that all year. It does not. And I think if you go back to last year, Sam Montembeault played over 60 games, 62, I think it was.
62,
right?
correct,
62,
Pierre.
yeah.
A career high for him.
Yeah, I mean, he'd never been there before.
No.
He knows what Jakub Dobeš is going through too. Jose knows exactly what Sam Montembeault is going through. He knows exactly what Jakub Dobeš is going through because he's been on both sides of the ledger. Jose has. So I just think he played the player that gives you the best opportunity to win. That's just how I've always thought.
Pierre, as a matter of fact, the year before he played 62, he had played 41. The year before he played 41, he had played 40. The year before he had played 40, he had played 38. The year before he had played 38, he had played 14. And the year before he had played 14, he had played 11. So he keeps on getting more and more starts every year. But that's a huge jump from 41 to 62, Pierre. And if Jakub Dobeš has played 6 games, 11 games into the season, and probably no one would have thought that he would have played 6 after the first 11 games, that means that Samuel Montembeault is going to get less games than he did a year ago. And that's good for Samuel Montembeault, Pierre. And one of the things I said earlier today, and then we're going to move on from this whole Dobeš-Montembeault thing, because there's so many other players to talk about on this team, and there's so many moments in this hockey game that we could talk about, is, Pierre, I would imagine that if Marty St. Louis hadn't already made up his mind, there's a good chance that he's going to his goalie coach who has worked with Samuel Montembeault. And I'm talking about Eric Rameau and saying, Eric, what can you tell me, right? I don't know if he needed to do that, but it could very well be that the goalie coach said, Marty, he's going to need a little bit more time. Possible, right, Pierre?
100%.
Yeah.
100% agree. And that's just how it works. And, there's some goalies that need to play a lot. Marty Brodeur played 70-plus starts 10 years in a row. He needed to play. That was a rhythm he was in. To your point with the numbers, they don't lie. Samuel Montembeault, until last year, never was at that level. He knows what it is. He knows how to be in rhythm with fewer games. But right now, if you're the Canadiens, keep putting points in the bank because this is an amazing run to start the year. I'm not going to back off on it either. And I know people in the league get mad at this. This team should have been 4-0 on this road trip.
Yeah, I hear you, Pierre. I want to take the opportunity, Pierre, once again to thank everyone who's watching. Like I'm really touched by what's going on tonight. There's about 2,000 people watching live on YouTube right now, which is really amazing. There's another 1,600 that are watching live on Twitter. There's another 300-400 or so that are watching live on Facebook. So 4,000 people watching live at 1:44 a.m. Eastern time. It's pretty cool. We want to thank you. We work really hard, and this is, when we see numbers like this, we understand that you appreciate what we're doing, and it makes us really feel a lot better about what we're doing. All right. Okay. I want to get back to the score sheet if we can. Let's bring up the goals. Okay. So here you have it, Pierre. In period number 1, Noah Dobson finds Nick Suzuki on the right side. He's behind the goal line, Pierre, but we have to talk about Dobson's play, Pierre, because there's a puck that's about to go out. He has a decision. I either stay at the blue line or I jump into it and I try and intercept the pass and try and pick up a puck here. He does that. He's able to get a stick on it. He gets it to Suzuki behind the goal line, who throws it back out in front, and Cole Caufield, right place, right time, right player, he jams it home. Pierre, in the history of hockey, there have been 1-2 punches. There's been so many of them. The Canadiens have had theirs for several years now, and they're probably going to have them together, Pierre, for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah,
Suzuki and Caufield.
There's no question. They respect one another. They have tremendous chemistry with one another. You just correctly touched on that goal, though. It's a Noah Dobson pinch. If Dobson doesn't make the right pinch there, the right read there, then that's probably not a goal. So it's all encompassing on that Cole Caufield game opening goal. And you're right about Suzuki and Caufield. That's something that just never gets old.
Hey, by the way, I know that, you talked about Alex Carrier last week. You loved one of the games that he played. You thought he was absolutely fantastic. And I got to tell you this, which was the game in Edmonton, by the way. There was a bad read in this game by Jack Guy in period number 1, which ended up being leading to a 3-on-1 for the Seattle Kraken, Pierre. These are some plays, Pierre, that they go unnoticed. Once the game's over, no one's talking about a block shot by Carrier. But you know what? Cole Caufield does what he does best. He scores goals. Nick Suzuki does what he does best. He sets up plays. Juraj Slafkovsky does what he does best. He goes to the net. Ivan Demidov does what he does best. He dangles people. Alex Carrier does a lot of good things well, Pierre. And one of the things he does really well, he gets in the way of shooting lanes. He blocks shots, and he stops Matty Beniers in what, if he can't block, if he doesn't block that shot, who knows? Maybe Beniers scores, and then maybe all of a sudden it changes the way the hockey game goes. So I thought we'd point that out. I thought that was a big play by Alex Carrier in period number 1. And then Pierre, Seattle grabs a penalty with 3:43 left in period number 1. It's Lindgren with a cross-checking, and the Canadiens go on the power play, Pierre. Hudson to Suzuki to Caufield, who's on the left side this time, not on the right side like Suzuki was, also behind the goal line, Pierre, who finds Slafkovsky going to the net. Tic-tac-toe. Pierre, talk to me about the power play with Demidov now on the right side, Suzuki on the left side, Slafkovsky in the bumper, Cole Caufield as a net front presence, and Lane Hudson quarterbacking it all, Pierre.
Yeah, no, that was smart. It was really good hockey, creative hockey. The biggest thing that I saw in that whole situation, and most of tonight, the Canadiens must have detected something in film study, because they were looking to make that play, the bumper play, a lot. It didn't matter which group was on the ice either. And you could see they were definitely looking for that. And let's go back to the Kirby Dach pass. He was trying to hit Gallagher. Watch where Gallagher's route is. He's trying to make the route right to the bumper position. So they must have detected something in film study, but that was a beautiful power play goal by Slafkovsky. And you could see the Canes were rolling after that power play goal.
Pierre,
they felt really good about themselves.
Speaking of film study, I don't know if they detected anything in film study, but I brought it up because I said, at one point, is this a coincidence or did they detect something? But Suzuki's pass on the Caufield goal, once again, he's right behind the goal line. Caufield's pass to Slafkovsky on his goal, he's right behind the goal line. Caufield's game-winning goal, he's behind the goal line. They probably picked up something in film study, Pierre.
Yeah, no, they did. And again, I'll just talk about the Caufield game-winning goal in overtime. That's Vince Dunn, number 29, who's a left shot on the right-hand side. Watch Cole Caufield when he gets the puck at the offensive blue line. What he does, he says, "I'm taking this guy right to the net because there's no way he can stop me." And so he does. He takes him.
He took Macklin Celebrini the same way last year at a game in the Bell Center in overtime.
Same deal.
Yeah.
And so these are guys that are paying attention. If you're a fan of the team, you want that. You want smart hockey guys that are paying attention to every little detail. To your point, below the icing line, good stuff's happening for the Canes in that game.
Speaking of taking players on, and I don't know if it was this play that actually woke Brandon Montour up, but Kirby Dach took him to the outside. Here it was one-on-one. He took him to the outside in period number 1. And you know what? Like, Kirby looked like a handful. When he decided to take Brandon Montour to the outside, he takes him to the outside. So now all of a sudden he's on his backhand. He's going back in front. He's got that right-handed shot. He's got that long reach. And I think he was sure that he was going to jam that one home and score. But Joey Decord gets his left pad, maybe even his left toe on it, Pierre. That was a big-time play by Kirby Dach, Pierre. It was very encouraging.
No, there's no question that was. And I think you're right. It did wake Brandon Montour up. Brandon Montour is amazing against Montreal. He's got 7 goals in his last 4 games against Montreal. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Don't wake him up anymore. Actually, you don't have to play against him anymore unless you play him in the Stanley Cup final. But no, Kirby was better. He's been better. I think going out west maybe helped him too. And maybe they probably had a little sweet talk time with him. You know what I mean? Like saying, hey, this is what we need from you. And if you're not giving it to us, there's a chance you might not be around.
Speaking of the Seattle Kraken, and I know this is not going to surprise you one bit because, A, if you know the guy, you know he's a stand-up guy, and B, he's done this before. But Mitch Garber made sure that there was a bilingual national anthem tonight.
Yeah, no, Mitch is at another level as a person and obviously as a promoter. And that's a good franchise there. You can see the crowd. I mean, the crowds are phenomenal there. They're electrifying. It's a good building to play in. It's a ton of fun for the league to have a franchise there. I think the players really enjoy that double dip with Vancouver and Seattle. It's not an easy one to do, but I think it's great for the league, and I think it's great for the fans on the West Coast.
Pierre, offensively, Oliver Kapanen wasn't able to get things done tonight. He has thus far this season, but he had a play, Pierre, in the second period, which they showed on RDS when I was watching the game, and they were right to show, and it was a real good play. Newhook finds Kapanen in the slot, Pierre, and his shot goes wide. I believe it's mishandled by Demidov on the wall. The puck goes the other way, and, it's going to Chandler Stevenson, and Kapanen is racing back, Pierre, and he's able to interfere with him and tie up his stick a little bit there. And you know what? It was great by him. It showed a lot of commitment to defense, Pierre.
Yeah, no, if you don't have it going offensively, you got to do something to help the team play and to help the team win. And I think Oliver recognized that. But I also think Marty St. Louis recognized he didn't have his A game tonight. He didn't. He just didn't have his A game. So he says, okay. And this is for all those fans out there saying, oh, Marty St. Louis is playing favorites. He wants this guy. I think Oliver Kapanen is one of his favorites. But he recognized tonight that Oliver Kapanen didn't have it on. I don't have the ice time in front of me, Tony, but I guarantee you Oliver Kapanen did not play more than Joe Veleno tonight. I guarantee you.
To the Cavalleros at Master Control, family business, and there they are in Master Control operating everything. Can we bring up the ice time sheet, the summary? And I think I sent it over. And if I did, we'll be able to, if we can bring that up. Do we have it? And if we don't have it, I'll get to you. No, don't have it. Okay, so let me just see here. All right. I have it. I know I have it because I sent it to myself via email. All right. Okay. Ice time for Pierre.
Oliver Kapanen.
Oliver Kapanen at 10 minutes and 20 seconds, Pierre. He was the least. He was the least utilized forward by the Canadiens. Joe Veleno had 14:22, Pierre, so 4 minutes more.
That's significant. That's what I'm telling you. Like, you can see that. And so the coach, I don't know if Kapanen got hurt in the game, maybe.
No, he did not, Pierre. No, he did not.
I didn't think he did either. But I'm just telling you, this is for the fans out there that think that the coach has these little favorites. I think Kapanen is one of his favorites. But Kapanen didn't have it going on tonight. So he says, you know what, you're going to watch a little bit tonight, and I'm going to use this guy.
You might be surprised who was the second least used forward in tonight's game, Pierre. Brendan Gallagher had 11:30.
Yeah, Brendan probably didn't play a lot. That was another one that stood out. I know
Ivan Demidov played 12 minutes, Pierre. He was the third least.
Yeah, I know who played a ton. Mike Matheson.
Pierre, Mike Matheson, think about this, okay? 4 games and 7 nights. I believe Matheson had more minutes than any other Canadiens defenseman in 3 of the 4 games. And the only game that he didn't, I think Noah Dobson played like 6 or 7 seconds more in 1 game. That was it, okay? But Mike Matheson tonight played 5 minutes more than Hudson and Dobson.
Yeah.
5 minutes more, Pierre.
So this is for all
Pierre, that contract's coming, Pierre. There's no doubt about it. Sure. No doubt.
But this goes back to what I was saying last year, and I was trying to make the point. It was frustrating to me that they kept him on the first power play for so long, because I've coached players that are like Mike, and they want to be on the power play, but it affects their ability to defend and play all those other big minutes. And Mike right now is more valuable with what he's doing than when he's playing on the power play. And so he's not playing on the power play. And look at the consistency level in his game, Tony. It's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I kept making those points. I know people are like, oh, you just, you want this, you want. No, it's the truth is that I want the best for the team and the best for the player. And for that player in particular, he is a creature of habit, and he's a thoroughbred. He needs to be moving all the time and skating all the time and not overthinking things offensively. And when he's not on the power play, he can play these steady minutes and play really, really well.
There's a stat that you're going to love, Pierre, and I think Hockey Canada is going to love it. Pierre, you want to know Nick Suzuki's body of work tonight?
Yeah.
Nick Suzuki played 1846. He had 3 assists. He was +2. He had 3 shots. He had 2 missed shots, and he won 9 of 16 draws for 56%. On a night where he needed to be good, because there's a kid named Bedard who scored his first NHL hat trick tonight, Pierre.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good intel. I know one thing. I don't know what the numbers were, but the Canadiens dominated faceoffs. And that's something that, with Seattle, I know Ronnie Francis was an amazing center iceman. I had him, and I know they stressed that big time in Seattle. And I don't know what the numbers were, but the Canadiens dominated the faceoff.
Yeah. I'll tell you what they were, Pierre. They actually they ate the Seattle Kraken alive in that regard tonight in terms of faceoffs, Pierre. The Montreal Canadiens won 61.2% of the draws, Pierre. Nick Suzuki won 9 of 16 for 56%. Alex Newhook went 2 for 4 for 50%. Jake Evans won 7 of 10 for 70%. Kirby Dach won 2 of 4 for 50%. Oliver Kapanen went 3-0 for 100%. And Joe Veleno won 7 of 9 faceoffs for 78%, Pierre. Yeah. The only Canadiens players that actually went below 50% were players who aren't in centerman, Pierre. Josh Anderson took 1, he lost it. Juraj Slafkovsky took 2, he lost it. The Canadian centerman ate the Seattle Kraken centerman alive in terms of faceoffs tonight, Pierre.
Yeah, they did. That's why I brought it up. The 100%, you could see it. And I just love the little things that are happening with this group. It's fun to watch. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be some potholes along the way. But by and large, this team is showing a lot of resolve. They're very committed to one another. And they're doing a lot of little things right. Faceoffs are one of those things.
Yeah. I mentioned Carrier before with a big block shot. By the way, he led all players with 4 block shots tonight. Second for the Montreal Canadiens was Mike Matheson with 3 block shots. Cole Caufield led all Montreal Canadiens, of course, with 2 goals in terms of goals, but he also led them in terms of shots. He had 5 shots in tonight's hockey game. Pierre, there was a play that did not result in a goal, but it kind of gave you a glimpse of what the next couple of years will look at, like for this player. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, there's a few of them, so go ahead. Tell me yours.
Juraj Slafkovsky takes, who was it? I think he took, was it Myers that he took? And I'm trying to think about it here, but Juraj Slafkovsky takes a player to the outside, Pierre, and then gives a backhand pass to Nick Suzuki, who ends up, he took Myers. He turned them, Pierre, and he went to the outside of Lindgren, and it was a backhand pass right in the slot for Nick Suzuki, whose quick shot along the ice went off the far post. But when I see Slafkovsky going to the net, when I see Slafkovsky taking players to the outside, when I see Slafkovsky sticking out his arm and keeping players at bay, Pierre, he's 21 years old. When he's 25 or 26 and he knows how to use his body better and he learns all the tricks of the trade and he becomes even stronger than he is right now, Juraj Slafkovsky is going to become that modern day, very effective power forward that the Canadiens saw in him when they drafted him first overall, Pierre.
He was a great pick. He was a great pick. I watched him play a ton in Finland that year. I was in Turku a bunch. And you could see this was a guy that wasn't getting utilized a lot. He was playing as a third-line player with no power play time at all over in Turku. I saw Marty Lapointe over there a lot, chief amateur scout at the time for the Montreal Canadiens. And I know Nicky Bobroff was there a lot too. The biggest thing about Slafkovsky, and you talk about that play, I'm going to talk about the power play goal. He finds a dead spot in coverage as a bumper player. He gets the puck, and he releases it quick. Like, you're going to see, to your point, Tony, over time, stronger, more physical, faster, understanding situations. He is so young. He's just starting out. He's just starting out right now. He's going to be a really, really dynamic power forward for Montreal.
Who do you have? The Canadiens or the Ottawa Senators on Saturday? Can put $1 or $2 on Betway. Go all the way with them and deposit a matchup bonus and get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. There's a QR code on the screen right now. Okay. If you scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account, redeem your welcome offer. This offer is only available for new customers. All right. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly if you're going to play. Thank you very much for that. We're with Pierre McGuire, and we have to talk about basically the other goals in this hockey game. Pierre will continue to bring up the score sheet, and there you have it. Alex Newhook, we talked about it on the power play. By the way, Pierre, I think it's the first time in the last 40 games. I saw Guillaume Villemère of TVA Sports, the statistician, tweet this. It's the first time in 40 games that both waves, first and second wave of the power play, scored on the same night. Once again, Dach's pass was looking for Gallagher, but it redirects and it finds Newhook. Brandon Montour's goal on the power play, Pierre, like you said, that deflects off of Alex Carrier's stick, which is on the ice, and it goes up and over Dobesh. And then talk to me about the 4-on-4, Pierre. Once again, we started the show this way, but you didn't. There's a learning moment there for a couple of Montreal Canadiens players on the 4-on-4, the goal that led to Shane Wright's goal for the Kraken.
Yeah, Demi Duff and Evans didn't play very well in the neutral zone, and that forces Matheson and Dobson to back off and give up the line. And that allows easy access for Seattle into the zone. And then you watch what happens with Demi Duff and also with Evans. They collapse all the way down to the net because of that easy access, and that opens up the shooting avenue for Shane Wright, who's unmolested in the high slot, and he just blasts it past Dobish. So the teaching point is going to be how to physically play in the neutral zone if you're the forwards, and for the defense to stay up more. But the defense can't stay up more because the forwards don't do a good job blocking the lanes.
Pierre, with a minute and 43 left in regulation, the Seattle Kraken tie it up. They pulled the goalie about a minute before that. It's a Montour shot. He rips it. It looked like Dobish was really focusing on, he's trying to track the puck, of course, but he's got Eberle there who's sticking out his stick. And we know what a good stick that he has, Pierre. He's been known to deflect a couple of pucks or two in his NHL career. You think that threw him off a little bit, thinking, you know what?
Yeah, I think a little bit. Time of the game, urgency from Seattle. Canadiens, that if I could correct criticism on Montreal on that, I didn't think they handled the end of the game very well as a group. I think they were kind of running around a little bit. Jake didn't get in the lane on the Montour shot. You could see, if you watch the tape, watch Jake's reaction afterwards. He knows he's got to be in the lane there. He's not. Puff finds his way to the back of the net, and the game's tied, and we go to overtime.
And they go to overtime, Pierre. And once again, it's 44 seconds into overtime that Caufield almost loses the puck, Pierre, in the offensive zone. And when you're 3-on-3 and you lose that puck, I mean, it goes back the other way and you could be in trouble. But he notices, Dunn is back. I got this guy one-on-one. And you know what? There could be a temptation to say, Pierre, if it's another player, maybe they'll say, you know what? Let me hold on to the puck. And let's just try and keep possession of the puck, and we'll set up and we'll try and make something happen. He says, you know what? I'm in the offensive zone. I think I can take this guy. I have the confidence in my ability to take him. I'm going to take him. And he took him, Pierre.
I wouldn't be surprised if the bench was yelling at him too. Take him, take him, take him. I've heard that a lot down there.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. And he's probably saying, yeah, I'll take him. Because, again, the left shot on the right side, it's a little bit of a different deal. And to his credit, he took him.
Pierre, listen, I want to thank you for staying up this entire time. And because, of course, right now, what time is it in Ireland, Pierre?
6:03.
It's 6:03. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't go to bed?
No. I took about 3 hours sleep before the game started. Then I got at it.
Thank you, Pierre McGuire. Pierre McGuire, co-host, of course, of the Sick Podcast, The Eye Test with Jimmy Murphy, and my co-host on every Montreal Canadiens, every Habs post-game show on weeknights. Pierre, when are you going to be back from Ireland? Friday.
It's a quick trip. George McPhee and I are speaking at this IIHF convention for professional hockey over here in Ireland right now, but it's not about professional hockey here. It's all the European countries. You got Germans, Swiss, Swedes, Finns. You got a lot of different federations here. So we're speaking today at around 1 o'clock our time, and then again around 4 o'clock, and then we're done for the day. And we're going to go watch a pro game here. The Belfast Giants play Cardiff in the British Pro League, so we're going to go watch that tonight.
Oh, that's cool. Did you get a golf game in?
No. I got here on Tuesday morning, their time. Came right up here to Belfast, about an hour and a half drive from the airport in Dublin, and then worked all yesterday and worked with you tonight into the morning, and back on Friday.
Pretty amazing stuff. Pierre McGuire, thank you so much once again. Have a great night, morning. Have a great sleep. You know, you and I will be going to bed at the same time, and thank God. And thank God we're doing it separately. Thank you, Pierre.
Thanks, Tony.
All right. There you have it. For all of you watching, once again, great numbers tonight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take 10 questions. So you stayed up for me. I'm going to stay up for you. I'm going to take 10 questions. So the Cavaleros and Master Control, give me 10 because I'm going to be back at 10 a.m. with my show en français, du lundi au vendredi, le Sick Podcast en français. We talk a lot about Habs, but I also talk about sports. So I'll be talking about the World Series tomorrow as well, because I had an eye on that, and the Toronto Blue Jays with a huge win over the Dodgers, and now that World Series is tied at 2. By the way, folks, one of the reasons why the Sick Podcast in English works, and one of the reasons why Le Sick Podcast en français fonctionne aussi, because it's a little bit of a juggling act, is in huge part due to the collaborators. And you know what? As much as I love my collaborators on the English side, and a lot of them speak French, I have different collaborators for the most part on the French side. So it's different opinions all the time, and we make it work. And if you're bilingual, if you speak both languages, and you've never listened to or watched Le Sick Podcast en français at 10 o'clock in the morning, if you can give me a shot, it's a different kind of show. This one here is very detailed. It's very technical. It's obviously very opinionated. It's a lot of business. It's strictly Montreal Canadiens talk. And the other one is also, I think, pretty amazing content, different collaborators, a different kind of show, a different kind of speed, a different kind of personality. We change it up. We try and have a little bit more fun. So it's a little bit of a different look. So give us a chance if you can. It's the same channel, by the way. We're trying to bring the two solitudes together. And one way of doing it is by having the English podcast and les podcasts en français tous sur la même chaîne YouTube. Merci. All right. Question 1. It was brought up a second ago. Bring it back up, please. Tom Ray sends over $10. I appreciate that. Huge fan of Tony and Pierre. Love you guys. If you're St. Louis after this game, what changes are you making coming back to a home game, if any at all? What changes am I making? Can't make any changes on defense. You have to go with that. I don't know if you're going to make any changes at forward too. You know what? I give the team the benefit of the doubt, and I continue to go with a winning lineup. I don't make any changes personally. That's just me. Question number 2. Alex Barr sends over $5. See, that's all the proof you need that Sam should be in goal. I'm not so sure I understand that one. That's all the proof you need that Sam should be in goal. I have nothing against Dobeš tonight. I mean, and ultimately it's all about winning games. And, the Montreal Canadiens won with Dobeš. And I don't have a problem with Dobeš. And I personally, myself, if Dobeš says he's really tired, I'll change my goalie. But if Dobeš is not really tired and he's going to have, quite an opportunity to rest here because the Canadiens are back at it Saturday night, personally, I play him until he loses. And that's just me. And I don't have the qualifications to be a coach, but I would play him until he loses. He keeps winning, I keep playing him. I think that's a great message that you can send to your team to say, hey, you know what? He keeps winning. I keep playing him. And the goalie who's going to win is the goalie who's going to keep on playing. And at one point, if he loses, well, then Montembeault has an opportunity. And Montembeault knows that if he wants to stay in there, he's got to win games. That's it. Next one. I think this is the third. The Rob Show. Despite the fact Canadiens have shown character and have proven they can come from behind several times this season, does it worry you a bit that we keep letting leads slip away? No, it doesn't. Because they're the youngest team in the National Hockey League. So they're not going to be perfect. It's unbelievable that they're winning as much as they're winning, being the youngest team in the National Hockey League. I'm not worried at all. Number 4. Productions FC. Would you like to move Arbor on the 4th and go for a good physical defenseman before the playoffs? It doesn't matter what I want to do. Marty St. Louis has never used Arbor Xhekaj at the forward position. And if he hasn't used him up until now, it's because he's obviously against it. Question number 5. Tony Marinaro. What's wrong with Bolduc's game? He's been cold. He lacks consistency in his game. Does Marty St. Louis try to get his game going, moving him with Demidov? I think one of the things is you just said it. He hasn't had consistent line mates. He hasn't had a line that's produced. And probably coming off the first wave of the power play, maybe it was a little bit difficult for him. Let's not forget, he's a young player. He played his rookie season last year. He'll be fine. Next, I think it's the 6th. I don't even know. I lost count. Doesn't matter. Kez, 9-11. Do you think we should need to try Demidov on the first line before the postseason in case shaking lines up is needed in the playoffs? If Slafkovsky happens to be out of the lineup at some point because he's out due to an injury, you can bring Demidov up in the first line. If not, I'm not changing that first line. Folks, the first line is good, and they complement each other perfectly. And by the way, for those who were on Uri Slafkovsky over the past couple of years because he's a slow starter, this, that, or whatever, and all that stuff, and by the way, he's admitted to being a slow starter. Once again, Guillaume Villemire brought up a stat that I have here regarding Uri Slafkovsky. And that is Slafkovsky's 5th goal came on October 28th. In the last 3 seasons, it came on the 16th of January last year, the 15th of January the year before that, and it didn't happen the year before that because he had 4 goals during the season. He scored his 5th goal on October 28th. Last year, he scored his 5th goal on January 16th. Slafkovsky's good. You just have to understand that he's not the playmaker Suzuki is. He's not the shooter that Caufield is. But he does things that they can't do either. And a big reason why he can do this because of his size, his athleticism, his physicality. By the way, most power play goals for the Canadiens before turning 22 years of age, Richer 25, Slafkovsky 15. He turns 22, I think, at the end of April. He's got some time here, or at the end of March. He's got some time here to probably get close to Richer. Question 7, I think. We're probably at 10, but it doesn't matter. Sean Beauvais. At what point do you think we'll see Florian with the Habs? By the way, watching from Rwanda, 8 a.m. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Sean. Florian Jacki, I think, will join the Montreal Canadiens right before the playoffs. That's my prediction. But then again, it's all going to depend on his play. Next, 9. Vinny Poli. Do you trade Monty for that second line center now that he has value? No, because the sample size for Jakub Dobeš is very small. Maybe Dobeš you just got hot. And maybe he just got hot last year in his first 5 or 6 games, and he just got hot this year in the first 5 or 6 games. The Canadiens have a tandem that will push each other. It's going to be good for both goalies. I'm not changing it. Last question of the night. Ted Stevens Ghost. Do you think you guys think Caufield is a better pure sniper than Stéphane Richer? Richer had a lethal snapshot, a lethal slap shot. Yes, he did. Richer had a slap shot. Listen, I'm not going to say Caufield's better than Richer because Richer had 50 goals 2 times in a span of 3 years. He had 50 once and 51 another time, if memory serves me well. But he only did it twice. And I think that Cole Caufield, I think Caufield will hit 50 at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if Caufield wins the Rocket Richard this year. Really, I wouldn't. And I think Caufield's going to have the kind of career where he's going to be in the 40s several times. He'll score more goals in the National Hockey League than Stéphane Richer did. And Stéphane Richer was one of my favorite players growing up. I love the guy. But I think Caufield's going to score more goals than him. Imagine how good Cole Caufield is to be that small and score that much. Pretty amazing. His greatest skill, besides his hands, his scoring ability, is probably here. His head, his mindset, his mentality, and his hockey IQ to not put himself in bad situations. When was the last time you saw Cole Caufield get hit hard? I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Actually, I do. It was in the playoffs last year versus the Washington Capitals, but it hasn't happened this season. And you know what? It didn't happen much last season either. It did happen in the playoffs, yes. Different game in the playoffs. Less time and space. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But he got right back up. He got right back up. I stayed up for you, and you stayed up for me. And I can't thank you enough because you really make it worth it. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors who make this possible, that we give you free content because they're the ones who pay it for you. I'm talking about Vago Italien, who brings you Pierre McGuire. I'm talking about the Geloso Beverage Group and Bittt Tibi. I'm talking about Playground. I'm talking about Energy Transportation Group. And I'm talking about Betway. Thank you so much for all your support. And thank you to all of you. If you like the podcast tonight, leave us a 5-star review. It's our way of feeling the love. Hit the like button. Comment 6666666 as much as you can. There should be a hype button at the bottom of that video. If you see it, click on the hype button as much as you can. It goes a long way with us. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, my guests will be Craig Button, TSN hockey analyst and director of scouting, and Pierre Lebrun. Does he have a scoop? He's talked about the Canadiens being interested in Nazem Kadri. How interested are they? Are there other players they're interested in if it doesn't materialize? You're going to have to watch tomorrow night to find out. And I'm hoping that you'll give me a try en français as well tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., which is going to be Wednesday morning, which is actually this morning, because right now it's 2:16 a.m. Eastern. And I'm going to wake up in about 5.5 hours. I'm going to do a couple of radio hits, and then I'm going to make my way to our studio in Ville-Saint-Laurent, and I'll bring you Le Sick Podcast en français at 10 a.m. Eastern. The Montreal Canadiens win by a score of 4-3 in overtime on a game-winning goal by who else? Cole Caufield. The Canadiens win 3 of 4 on this road trip, and they're going to be back in Montreal. And before I do let you go, I can tell you that right now, one quick look at your standings will show you that your Montreal Canadiens are first in the Atlantic. 2 points up on the Detroit Red Wings, who hold a game in hand. 5 points up on the Toronto Maple Leafs, who hold a game in hand. And if you're wondering where the Montreal Canadiens are in their conference, they are tied for first. New Jersey 16, Pittsburgh 16, Montreal 16. Montreal and Pittsburgh have played a game more than the New Jersey Devils. Where are your Montreal Canadiens overall in the standings? The Canadiens are tied with New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Utah, and Colorado, all with 16 points. Only New Jersey has a game in hand. Your Montreal Canadiens are tied for first, basically. Mind you, New Jersey's in first because they have a game in hand. But once again, Pittsburgh, Utah, Colorado, and Montreal have all played 11 games, and they all have 16 points. 8 wins, 3 losses for your Canadiens, playing .727 hockey. They've scored 40 goals. They've conceded 33. They have a differential of +7. What a night. What a team. What a next 10 years it's going to be. I'm happy you're coming along for the ride, and I'm happy to be doing this. Thanks for watching. It's the Sick Podcast. Special thanks also to Sammy and the Cavaleros for staying up with me at Master Control. Ciao for now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaVie.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.